Hi, my name is Caelen Proctor. I'm a sculptor and ceramicist. So I was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. Growing up on the Intercoastal Waterway allowed me to explore the marshlands right outside my house. Every weekend, my parents would drag my siblings and I out for a day of adventure. We would troll along the beaches and snorkel in and around the reefs. At a young age, I got into the sport of competitive swimming. My coaches would take us to Jack's Beach to do dry land exercises. Then we would have to swim a mile out to a buoy that the Jack's Beach lifeguards would place out just specifically for us. I am currently studying a BFA in Sculpture and Ceramics at the University of North Florida. I have exhibited at the NCCC IAP juried exhibitions by Toby Flores and Carrie Johnson in Birmingham, Alabama in spring of 2019. I've also exhibited at the University of North Florida's juried exhibition in fall 2020. And then I've exhibited at the University of North Florida Preserve exhibition in fall 2020 as well. Inspired by the ever-growing concern for our depleting ecosystems and environments, natural phenomena, climate change, pollution, coral restoration, receding coastlines, and overfishing have been the main influence within my work. Natural phenomena could include earthquakes and platonic shifts or faults. Climate change includes the ever-growing concern for temperature change and depletion of the ozone layers. Pollution includes the abundance of trash that simply can't break down and ends up polluting the oceans and depleting the oxygen found circulating in and around the ocean. It's hard to believe that fish can breathe oxygen. Oxygen molecules are pushed through the water by currents. Just like a fish tank works with a pump, currents push oxygen molecules through the water and aerates the water for species to survive. Coral restoration has become a promising field of study. Over the course of several years, scientists have found a way to rebuild or damage and dying reefs. By growing coral artificially in a lab, scientists have started cultivating species of coral to rebuild a once broken and depleting reef and restore it to its former exotic self. Scientists have found that coral can't physically latch onto a surface where there isn't any bedrock because of the ongoing currents. So, scientists have made artificial pyramid reefs. They simply fasten the new coral down to the corner of a pyramid, and in weeks you can see growth and stability. Our receding coastlines are due to the pedestrians walking in and around the sand dunes. Sand dunes act as an anchor for our coastlines. Without the sand dunes, coastal waves can wash away residential homes. Today we have strict fishing laws that protect the well-being and future of our species found in and around oceans. Fishing seasons have been enforced to preserve breeding and migration for fish and other wildlife. Back then, we didn't have fishing laws. This in turn depleted the fishing counts and put many species on the endangered species list. My process involves metal casting, metal fabrication, resin casting, and mold making, ceramic wheel throwing, and slip casting. To start things off, let's discuss metal casting. We will start with a rubber mold of our object, then we will pour wax into the molds to get a relief. From there, we will put the object into a sand mold. The easiest form of sand mold is called the lost wax method, where you place your object in a sand mold without a part line. You will attach a vent and a pour spout. Place it in upside down in an oven or a dewaxing kiln, then it's ready to have metal poured inside. Resin casting is practically the same process without metal. You start by taking a rubber mold of your object. I chose my hand. Once cured, you will create a mother mold of your rubber mold out of plaster bandages. Now, your mother mold must be done in two parts. Typically, one part will overlap the other part, allowing for a better hold. Once cured, you will be ready for the resin. I use Smooth Cast 300, which is a 2-part white resin. You'll mix equal parts to a 1-to-1 ratio. Mix both parts together and pour the mixture into your mold. Before you know it, you will have an identical copy of your hand. Slip casting is a very interesting process. So just like resin casting, you will make a mold, but instead of using rubber, you will strictly use plaster. Plaster will suck any moisture found in and around an area. So you will assess your piece, you will identify a part line, and place in the middle of cottle boards. Around your object, you will take clay and stack up to the part line. After that, you will dig out your keys, which will help lock your mold together and will stop your piece from shifting. Pour your first part of the plaster. Once cured, you will take apart the mold, leave your object resting inside the plaster, and then you will restart the process to start your second part. Take away the clay that you used to block in your piece. The second part is always tricky because you will develop some cracks along the cottle boards based on the size of your first part. Take clay and line the cracks to reduce any leaking from the second part of your plaster. Once you have 2 parts of your mold, your piece will be ready to be poured in 2 days. Plaster likes to suck any moisture found in and around an area. So in order for this process to work properly, the mold must be completely bone dry. Once bone dry, you will pour the mold and let the mold sit for a while to build up a thick enough wall. Once you reach a desired thickness, you will place the board upside down and on a rack and let it drain. Let it drain for about 30 minutes and then you can demold. My concept this semester is about coral restoration and pollution. I want to draw attention to the very growing concern to rebuild our coral reefs and rid our oceans of the very pollution we have been throwing away for years. New scientific research has found a way for coral to sustain itself through man-made supports or objects. Pollution is an ongoing concern that plagues this generation. Below are several sketches I have come up with that will help demonstrate my love for nature and how we are trying to help preserve the beauty of our environments. Coral polyps, clay and iron, 15 by 12 by 10, fall 2019. Crab buoy, it's made by nylon rope and clay, it's 4 by 8 by 8, fall 2020. This piece is called Octopus. It is also made by clay, but is specifically done in a reduction high fire kiln. It's 13 by 8 and it's done in spring 20. This piece is untitled. It's done in plaster. It's 10 by 12 by 8, done in fall 2000. This piece is called Octavian. It's foam, resin, body clay, and paper mache. It's 4 by 2.5 by 3, done in. This piece is called Ripple Effect. It's made by fiberglass and steel. It's 9 by 4 by 4, done in spring 2019. This is my second large-scale project. It's called Bold City. It's made from steel. It's 8 by 5 by 5, done in spring 2020. This piece is called Illumination. It's resin and iron. It's 8 by 6 by 4, done in fall 2008. This piece is called Hidden Treasures. It's iron, rust patina, gold luster. It's 14 by 8 by 5, done in fall 2018. This piece is called Catch of the Day. It's steel and resin, 15 by 8 by 5, done in fall 2020. This piece is called Get a Grip. It's steel and resin. It's 4 by 2.5 by 2.5, fall 2020. This piece is called Help. It's resin and nylon rope. It's 5 by 4 by 6, done in fall 2020. This piece is called Suffocation. It's cellophane and resin, 18 by 15 by 9, fall. Here are my references.